Good afternoon, everybody. I'm gonna wait for some people to join up. It's friggin' cold out here. Pavel, what's up, my brother? Blah. Blah la land. Sweet blah la land. Sweet Pavel. What's up, everybody? How's it going? Make sure you hit that like button. I got a lot of interesting. You know what? Just to start off this video today, I did a video a couple days ago that was like a half hour, and I talked about some very interesting topics. And when it was uploading, somehow I deleted it. I hit the button by accident, and I wasn't able to keep that video here on YouTube, so it got deleted. So I wanted to do a video related to some of the same topics that I was talking about, but plus much more. You guys can see here, this is the gateway to the forest. The watchers above, the forest is blocked. I'm not walking through that snow today. You can see the walls of snow up in front of here. Crazy. We had snow again last night. We had like, I think six or 8 inches again last night. We've been getting snow for like crazy for the last 5 days or more. Craziness. How's everybody doing out there in YouTube land? Let me see, I'll go up this way actually. Let me see. Don't eat snow. Do not eat snow. You can realize this is falling from the atmosphere. It could have all sorts of bacteria and microbes and other life forms, virus inside of it. This is the whole reason why your mothers and your grandmothers out there, when you were little, always said, don't go out in the rain, you'll get sick. Right? It's a friggin' subconscious imprint of what's falling from the sky. You know, it can get you sick. And it all depends on whether we're in a minimum sunspot cycle as well. So whatever's in the atmosphere will sort of have a friggin' open hole to get in here. And I've talked about it before. I hate snow. Whatever, you know, in December of 2019, COVID hit, and that's when we went into a minimum spot cycle, lower than it's been in over 100 years. So that's not a coincidence. And last time it was like that, the Spanish flu came. So think about that. Snowing in Emily. It's snowing in Chicago. Yeah, it just finished snowing here. I'm walking uphill in the snow right now. Like a stunad. Mamma mia, Madon. Even my, well, look at even that word Madon, right? It comes from the Madonna. Madonna mia. Madonna of mine. Right? Even that term comes right from that. Yep. Yeah, Italian's funny. They'll come up with names where you're like, is that even a frickin' word? Like, look at this bachagaloop over here. Right? Yeah. I know. It's really crazy. I could say some words too, like that I'm not going to mention on here because they're kind of racist, but when growing up in Italian, they have like a lot of funny words for different ethnicities where just the word is fun to pronounce, right? Oh shit. Oh man, but I have been getting some intense visuals. I don't know about anybody else out there, but I've been getting some deep connections when I have some silence. Even when I'm just sort of going about my day and my mind will wander for a second, then I'll sort of get these telepathic flashes coming to me, you know. It'll be sometimes related to the research I'm doing, where I'll be busy with working on something, and then my mind will just sort of like zone out for a second, and bam, nanotubes. Well, guys, you know, that's an interesting topic in itself. You guys realize that most likely the virus out there is, and who knows, maybe in the vaccinations out there are implanting nanotubes within your lungs, within places. And copper and crystals combined can protect you from that, but not just ordinary copper, twisted the right way. And copper that has a positive charge within it that can bring you to a higher harmonic frequency and protect you with a field, electromagnetic field around you, a telepathic field connected, right? And that is one of the key things. I mean, look at the story of Moses. Yeah, it could be right on the swab. It's a possibility. It could be right on the swabs. You know, you guys realize they have nano dust. You cannot see it. It's a coating, a clear coating of nano dust that could be on a swab or something like that. So, I'm not a scientist that works in a nano field, nanotechnology, but look it up. It's there, you know, and it's totally possible. Think about it. Why would they be having... They could just swab your mouth, okay? And different things. They don't have to go to your freaking brain. That in itself is crazy. My brother had that done. That is scary, you know, because unfortunately, somebody at my brother's work had come down with COVID, so they all had to get tested. My brother was fine, thank God, but they had to put one up to his nose. And some of the MMA fighters that I know, that are actually professional fighters, they have to get this shit done on a weekly basis sometimes a couple of times in a 3-day span. So what the hell, right? It's crazy. I mean, I gotta turn the camera just so I could see off the sun in the chat room. Yeah, like an AccuVac. In fact, I'm very excited to announce they'll be going up on my website starting tonight. I just got a whole new shipment of crystals in too. So I've been making sure I'm charging them, doing the right thing. I'm actually going to drive to the North Salem Balanced Rock in the next couple of days and charge the whole lot of them, whatever I can. But there's certain ones that I have charged at the solstice and equinoxes that I have available on my website, and I only have a couple of them left. So I've been putting them up every once in a while. As soon as one of the other ones sell, I'll put another package up, but I only have 2 other packages after this one left that have crystals or copper that was charged during the equinoxes and the winter solstice of 2020 at the Stargate of the Balanced Rock of North Salem, New York. And it is a Stargate. It is a bridge between the heavens and earth. A megalithic red granite dolmen. And of course, the red granite is similar to the red granite you find outside of Ethiopia and even Aswan. And you guys heard me talk about it before. It's built on top of a magnetic anomaly. It's like literally 60 to 90 tons of red granite, and it's sitting on top of smaller quartzite slabs, balancing on top. and it's on a minus 400 gamma magnetic anomaly. So who had the experience and technology to build a megalithic dolmen on top of a magnetic anomaly like that? Can't be a glacial erratic, because that would be a 1 in billions and billions of chance of that happening. It just can't happen. It just can't happen. Not only that, but the front side of it that's facing the side that people see it at is shaped like a feline Sekhmet goddess with the pharaoh's headdress on it. That doesn't happen. Right? So it's literally a healing chamber. It's literally a stargate. Laying beneath that will blast your consciousness into the cosmos. It'll bring you to a higher harmonic frequency if you're able to tap into that. You know, not everybody will be able to experience that, but everybody has that. Everybody has that ability within them somewhere, latent, right? And thank you, Pavel. And Moses and many other ancient healers or people that had secret knowledge about healing, and from the ancients, you'll see various things that are representing similar technology to copper tensor tools, right? Look at the story, and I brought this up on my show Saturday night on Truth Frequency Radio. The first 30 minutes of the show, my buddy David Parry came on. He's a reverend, a pastor, and you know, I support him because he is an openly gay pastor, right? Reverend. And even though that shouldn't have nothing to do with it, because the type of person you are shouldn't have to do with like your sexual preference, unless your sexual preference is for children, right? Or some weird perverted thing. Then I understand a problem big time, right? And that person should be not in society, because I don't think there's literally a cure for that. But when you're admit to being a gay priest, you get attacked. Well, he's not a priest, he's a reverend, because obviously priests, I don't know if they can admit to being gay, but of course they're not supposed to be having sex out there or being involved in physical relationships like that. So, which I brought up the other day, that I believe they should just let priests get married. You would have such better quality of priests, a lot less problems. And unfortunately nowadays, some of the most wicked of people are becoming priests so they can explore their wickedness, right? Unfortunately, now you have a good chunk, maybe even 3/4. I know they won't admit it, but maybe even 3/4 of the modern day people becoming priests are gay. Seriously, that many. Because most men want to grow up and be able to have a relationship. They want to get married. They want to have kids, you know? Even if they don't want to have kids, they want to be, they have the, we're humans, right? You can't be married to God. You can't be married to the oneness of the universe. Or even if you're looking at it like it's a celestial creature when you're a human, right? But look at the story of Moses and the serpent, the copper serpent in Hebrew. People don't realize that, but there's the story of Moses and Miriam, where Miriam speaks badly about Moses, which is her brother, I believe, right? And Moses was told by God to, I guess, erect this rod, this metal rod that had what they call a serpent, a nakash, wrapped around it. But it wasn't just a regular serpent, it was a copper serpent wrapped around the metal rod. So what are we talking about here? And this is where we actually get the caduceus from, right? You guys have seen the medical symbol that we have here in the United States, or even in the whole world, right? They have the caduceus symbol, which is a double serpent wrapped around a pole with wings at the top. Well, if you look back to Moses, without the wings, they had the serpent wrapped around the pole. And in Hebrew, they call this the Nakash Ha-Nekoset, right? This is the copper serpent. Now, if you were to twist copper around each other, like I have right here, you know, I don't know if I don't have my bracelet on right now, but I have a little necklace. Oh wait, I have actually something to show you. Hold on. I have a few things on me. So if you twist copper around itself, of course it starts to look like a serpent. Twisted copper, right? It looks like a serpent. When you twist around each other, it gets that cobra look to it, right? Twisting copper around itself, you get that sort of cobra look, right? That sort of serpent look. So if you had twisted copper around the pole, it would look like a copper serpent, right? Maron, we got a copper serpent here, right? So in this case, Moses erected this copper serpent on this pole, on this metal pole, to protect the Israelites from getting bit by the fiery serpent. They were told, God told Moses to make this device, and told for him to have the Israelites stare at this device. And as long as they stare at this device, it would protect them from bites from the fiery serpent. Very interesting story there. Sounds like copper's protecting them from bad energy or some sort of virus coming. Something coming within the wind even. Right? Something coming from outside this world maybe. It could be even some sort of comet strike. Right? Or anything like that. Some sort of plague. A reptilian plague. Similar to what we have going on right now. And do you realize, guys, that one of the main things, and I'm going to be bringing this up at the Nephilim conference that I'm speaking at in April. And, you know, there's a whole bunch of speakers on there. Leo Zagami, Reverend Parry. There's like 11 of us all together. It's a whole day event. And it's sponsored even by TEDx Lambeth. So it's going to be an amazing event. And I can't speak for all the other speakers on there because I don't know them. But I can speak for my presentation. And I'm going to be talking about the fact that, like, the Nephilim continued their bloodline because there was a problem with procreation. The more you do research, the more psychic hits I get, the more it becomes clearer that there was a problem with childbirth with these ancient races. So they resorted to using hyperspace technology, higher dimensional technology, right? Or if you want to even call it that, otherworldly technology, spiritual technology, right? Where it involves, you know, if you're having a physical problems with childbirth, they're looking to the quote-unquote gods to help them. And this involves erecting certain megalithic structures, sex magic rituals to the gods, fertility rituals to the gods. Because if you're having problems and you're a Nephilim, which is an ancestor of rebellious fallen angels, if you want to call them, or you could call them extraterrestrials, higher dimensional beings, whatever you want to call them, however you want to look at it, from whatever perspective you want to look at it. If you're having problems with childbirth, and part of your DNA is from these rebellious fallen angels, then you're going to be looking into that DNA to bring forth your creation. So they were looking for higher help through fertility rituals. That's why the first gods you see on this planet have to do with gods of the elements and gods of the fertility. Right? And the first ones that we see in the Canaanite pantheon is El and Asherah. El is the supreme god, and Asherah is his queen of the heavens. And of course they have children like Baal and Mot, and I'm talking about not the Mot from Egyptian, M-M-A-T, it's M-O-T, Mot. It's one of the children of El and Asherah. His brother is Baal, or Baal, however you want to pronounce it. And their sister is Anath. You know, this is the same Anath that we have in Egyptian culture that marries Set and has sex with Set. Right? Same with Baal. They're brothers and sisters, but they're also spouses. They're fertility gods, but they're really lineage of the rebellious fallen angels, if you want to call them. You could call them extraterrestrials if you want to, other dimensionals. And we have all sorts of outside contact that is possible. Do you realize, not just from telepathic information that I've pulled in, but other people have had the same exact experiences when you start to look into it. After certain experiences that I've had, I've researched it. Like, has anybody else seen this stuff? And yes, do you realize that we have not just one or two, but many space stations hovering outside of our Earth, our dimension? Literally. And they are there because of the certain time period that's happening right now. And there's some good and there's some bad. We still with you guys in the chat room? You know, I've been telepathically guided to wear copper. You know, it was told to me to work with copper, to wear copper. It was sort of subconsciously guided to it. You know, I was told this recently. You know, that I've been guided. It wasn't just that I just stumbled upon it. I was specifically guided to work with it, to bring us to a higher harmonic frequency. We have telepathic fields that we can generate of dark energy and of light energy. A lot of the telepathic fields, harmonic telepathic fields, and you know, I have a book by Dr. Chris T. Hardy. She talks about the spiral staircase and harmonic telepathic fields, right? I have witnessed this myself. And in fact, I've seen a lot of people in the last couple of months talk about torus fields. I have been talking about this for a few years, you know, and down to the very atoms of who we are. We have torus fields, tori within tori to with tori, and they all expand out. And it's fields within fields, tori within tori. It's the same thing that could generate with dark energy, right? When you have, say, like when you go to a rave and you have a group of people that even go there together that are friends, right? They're even doing the same drugs, right? Listening to the same music, dancing the same way. They're generating a certain telepathic field with each other that has a barrier. Literally has a barrier. If you're part of that telepathic field, if you're part of that crowd, you can almost tap in to the dark telepathic field of the people on the floor with you that are literally on the same drugs as you, listening to the same exact music at the same time, the same beat, the same vibrations, and everybody's generating this sort of a web field. And it will have a specific radius, like a perimeter, a barrier. And if you're part of this field, you know, say all of a sudden now you want to step away from this dance floor and you want to go to the bathroom or go outside for a second or something, right? You'll be part of this telepathic field and getting a link, a oneness between you all even, right? Where people are having the same same sort of experience almost as each other, right? With different shades of each person, you know, building a barrier. And as you step away from this field and go towards the bathroom or something, you'll feel yourself leave that telepathic field. It's like getting sucked away. Whoomp. It's like getting pulled out of that dimension. You know? Literally pulled out of that dimension. And I have direct experience like this. I spent most of the 90s in places like this. Places that were world renowned too, like the Limelight. You know, I live only like 25 miles from the Limelight. You know, between 20 and 25 miles. So, you know, on a Friday night, or even sometimes during school nights, you know, after school, you go home, get dressed, and you take a half-hour drive, and you're at the club, right? So you get dinner and you're there. So we went, you know, that was our hangouts. You know, even all, you know, the New York City clubs and shows, it was only a half an hour drive. You know, we're right outside the city. So it was part of who I was for a very long time, you know, and I know about those. Hey, how's it going? I know about that experience, you know, for sure, especially when people are on the same LSD or the same ecstasy, ketamine, all these different drugs where they're doing the same drug from the same supplier, right? They're all showing up there. They're getting a lot of people are getting dressed with each other before they go out, hanging out with each other before they go out, right? And then they get on the dance floor, the same music, the same dance moves. You know, everything is generating a web of power. And you can actually see it. If somebody that isn't a telepath or empath or has psychic abilities, you can actually see rays of light. Sometimes black streams of light, dark, you know, light and dark. You could see streams of energy coming out of people's foreheads and meeting each other higher above the room or higher above outside this established. It just goes up into the sky, up outside. Who knows where it's actually, but they're meeting together higher above us, and it's generating this huge torus field around that perimeter. And this is how telepathic fields are generated, even for good, even for light. And there's been experiments, right? There's been experiments all over the world that have researched this sort of information. This is not just coming from me, right? Telepathic fields are pronounced and described in many different ways. But there's a book called Cosmic DNA by Chris T. Hardy. It's a woman. And she talks about the spiral staircase. I have the book. I'll post it on my Patreon for everybody as well. But she talks about harmonic telepathic fields in some of her work. And there's been so many experiments done on this. I mean, especially with copper. I mentioned the other day on the video that got deleted about the Archaic Project. Right? The Archaic Project was a group of 6 originally people that got together, and the inventor and Dr. Earl Bakken, who was like a really well-known person in Minnesota area, Minneapolis, Minnesota area. He ended up owning a very old mansion there as well, and he was an inventor. He's most known for making the pacemaker, the first installed pacemaker. And I forget the name of his company now. It was like Meta, or I forget the name of it now. But he had a famous company as well. But when he got all these people together to explore psychic abilities, to explore why people have alien experiences, ghost experiences, things like this, right? And explore ESP. Oh, thank you so much, Killian McGee. Killian sounds like almost like a sort of a reptilian, an Irish reptilian. Right? Oh shit. Thank you so much. That helps out so much, everybody that wants to donate. It's I forget what I was talking about now, but where was I? Oh, the Archaic Project. Yeah, so these 6 individuals got together and they were exploring why ESP happens, certain tests. You know, they had people come speak from all over the world that were researching psychical research, which is telepathic research, ESP research, psi research, and they had a lot of interesting experiences, interesting information that came up, and they were exploring telepathic fields. That buffer. Yeah, make music today, for sure. The guitar. I know I can't bring the guitar right outside right now because of how cold it is. Regular Girls. She's a long-time listener and supporter. No, I never said that people that go to raves always take drugs. I'm saying sometimes when these telepathic fields are generated between a group of people, they're generated because the people they're on the same drugs, they're listening to the same music, they're generating that same vibrational energy from each of them, and it's linking up as a telepathic field, even if it's a dark one. Right? So, of course, I'm not saying that everybody at these clubs are taking drugs. Of course, some people are just there to experience. It's the same way when you have a group of people that are going there for good reasons, because I've experienced utopia type events at these raves, right? Where people are going there just to dance and have fun and to meet other people, right? And you'll see, because of the sort of, I don't know if this is a good or bad result, you can look at it either way, but you got people from all different walks of life sometimes, that a doctor will meet up with a skateboarder or something like this, right, on the dance floor, and experience some amazing, like, otherworldly experience where just your senses are just linked with each other. And it's like an amazing event, and people end up going home with each other because of this, so you'll have people go out to a rave, and they'll have an experience where it just seems like magic, right? Because of the vibrational energy and the telepathic field that's generated with each other, so of course, it's better without drugs. It's, the drugs bring the darkness to it. But there is some positive, definitely positive in that, completely. That's the whole reason why originally I got into it. Because you go out there, I got into going to shows and raves and drum and bass and all this music, not because of drugs. That ended up coming into the play a little bit later on. And that's when everything went bad, right? But I originally got into it because of the experience of the music and the vibrational energy that you feel between the other people around you and the music and the movement of your body, right? Where you're not even thinking about what you're doing anymore. It just takes over. The rhythm takes over you. And when people let themselves go like that, they don't even know how they did these moves, how they're even doing this. They'll do things that they've never even practiced before. Just all of a sudden, your body just takes hold, right? It's at a telepathic oneness with the universe. And this is when contact can be made as well. So it's very important when people are grounded. There's a well-known well known, I guess, if you grew up in the 70s and 80s. Guy died in 1987, during the same year as my near-death experience and the same year as the harmonic convergence, right? So his name was Ted Owens, and he had experiences that I have had as well. This guy's ego got a hold of him, though. He actually thought and said, and actually a lot of it can be proven. He called himself the PK man, right? The psychokinesis man. And Jeffrey Mishlove, psychologist Jeffrey Mishlove, spent 10 years researching this guy. He wrote a book about it that I have called PK Man. I'll post that on my Patreon as well for you guys. Ted Owens died in 1987, but he was talking about that he was predicting weather phenomena, and that it was coming from him, and he was working with extraterrestrials that were outside of this planet, hovering above us, even in UFOs. And I've had similar experiences telepathically before with a manted grasshopper type being that he talks about as well in some of his work. And this is how I found him. One day, and it happened in over a period of a couple of weeks, where I had a couple of telepathic experiences where these giant insecta, this was in 2017, right before the Great American Eclipse. I talked about it. You know, you can go back and see the videos, that I was getting these visions of these giant mantid type beings, and that they were in some sort of for lack of a better word, I guess a craft or some sort of station, and that they could reach people telepathically. And this is where they were reaching me from. And it was not something that I purposely tried to do, but it was something that came to me. And it wasn't a negative experience, but it was very, almost like, it wasn't like it was talking to me either. It was visual, but with the sense of, if I wanted to go further, that they can offer me something. And that's when I turned away, because it's like, you should never be looking for outside help to make things happen for you, right? So it's this is where Ted Owens, and I think that even the guy Simon Parks went wrong, right? Where there's some sort of agenda, where they're using you for some sort of reason, and most likely it's to feed off of that telepathic connection, right? So our brains are more powerful than all of the supercomputers put together. We are just we're not using a lot of our neurons, and we're not using a lot of our DNA, but fully activated, our brains are more remarkable than any supercomputer you can possibly imagine. So if something is able to telepathically get a hold of you, right, eventually there will be some sort of abduction where they will change your brain. They will actually install something in your brain to open up something. And I can't say if all the I don't have all the answers, but this is what happened with a few people that I've researched, and it happened with Ted Owens. Ted Owens talked about how he was eventually abducted by these grasshopper mantis type beings, and that they did something to his brain. They worked on his brain, and this guy was writing letters to scientists all over the world, right? Where he would be like, postmark letters at a certain date, and he'd be like, in 3 weeks from now at a certain date there will be a volcanic eruption, or I'll stop it, and I'll stop it before it hurts anybody, or this or that. And most of what he was writing was coming true, was literally coming true. And it had to do with fires that would break out, all sorts of weather phenomena and different things like this, right? So eventually he started calling himself the PK man. Yeah, I mean, there is a oneness. Of course, God has all different faces to it, right? The oneness of the universe. That's why you have all these polytheistic religions. But it's a oneness, for sure. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the comments. Yeah, so that's why when I'm talking, I don't want to make it look like that I have all the answers or that take everything that I'm saying as correct. It's for you to do your own research. In fact, the more I learn, the more questions I have. The more it's like the more you don't know, you know? So beware. The more you learn, the more work you're going to have to do. Right? So thank you, everybody, for joining me today on this sunny afternoon here. And I hope I was able to give you guys, I'm sure a lot of you are going to be going looking up certain things right now, right? So yeah, you could check him out. His name was Ted Owens. He died in 1987. And I'll see you guys later. I'll be on Leak Project tomorrow. I'll be on, I forget the name of the new show, but with Nish. Her name is Nish. She used to have a show called The Obelisk and another show called Noxmente. So she has a new show that I'll be going on Thursday, and I'll also be on Leak Project tomorrow, of course. And I'm going to probably be doing a show tonight here right on YouTube. Also, guys, I just got in an amazing shipment today. Anybody who makes a purchase on my website will be receiving a free piece of rainbow moonstone. So don't miss out on that. Definitely worth it, everybody. They have amazing flash and sheen on them. You got to look at every angle of them because they're just amazing. Amazing pieces. So I'll see you guys later. And Spiral out.